Hello, today I'm going to talk a little bit about the course. So I'm opened up into the course now to the learning modules. When you first log on, you'll be opening up to this point, which is the course information. So this is less here. So you have the winter syllabus, which you can look at, and we'll talk about in a master class. You have the schedule, and you have how to use AnyMeeting, which that's what we'll use for the master class. So if you click on the schedule, you'll see that it opens up like a web page. It has links to each of the learning modules. You can go to the schedule here, or you can go back to home, which tells you how to navigate the course. And here are the learning modules. So on this side, you'll notice that there's some navigation that explain the concert reports. And the concert reports I'll explain more about later. This kind of gives you what that's going to be. So you'll look at 2 to 3 videos. If there's more, you only have to write about 2 or 3 of them. You also do a presentation at the end, which includes a PowerPoint, a 2-page overview that you'll upload, and proper sources. You'll have 2 discussions. I had scheduled 3, but I think we're only going to do 2. We'll talk about that in a second. You'll also have a master class, of which you'll sign up for a time. A few of you have already done that. And then there's various links here. So if we looked at this from the learning modules here, we can go to the elements, which is the first one. And in the elements, you don't have to do any concert reports, but you are getting ready to do your first discussion, which we'll talk about. If you click on these, you'll download and you'll notice this is on a Mac. I downloaded the PowerPoint for each of these. There's one for each of these for this section for the PowerPoint. So if I go back here on the side, and I have fortunately got out of this, we'll go back back to where we are here now. So let's go ahead and go over and look at the learning modules. Yours will look different in the student view, which I'll show you in a few seconds here. So if we go to the learning modules, this gives you another link to the schedule. This is some information about some things in here. This is how to navigate the course, which talks a little bit about what I'm saying now. So if we go back to the learning module, you'll need to fill this out. This is like that says you will adhere to all the proper etiquette when doing your paper to be your work, and you will cite things that are needed if you're writing a paper, like the sources and the quotes. This is a little bit more expanded schedule for you. You notice this moves fairly fast. So in the elements, it's the first 2 days of the course. You'll have to sign up for a master class. You'll be looking at these chapters. So basically, you're going to be spending from 3 to 5 hours probably to accomplish your homework. Remember, if you were live, you would have a couple-hour lecture or even longer. Depends on how many credits you're taking. So we have one quiz that you'll be taking, and then you'll have an exam each time, and you'll be starting to look for your discussion on Paul Simon, which is a fairly interesting discussion. Let's go here and look a little bit here, and we're going to look at the presentations and discussion and concert reports. And here you will find out this is a presentation information. Let's look at that really quick, and we'll talk more about this. You'll choose 2 topics, and I'll prove one. It needs to be on something to do with world music, so I would shy away from using many local artists. Everybody wants to do an artist that's out today. I would try to look in the book and get some ideas from that rather than just choosing Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson didn't have a lot to do with world music. He might have been famous in the world, but he wasn't really playing music, world music. It'd be better if you talked about blues or jazz or something like that. This is going to talk about a little bit more, and we'll talk about more about this later. There's a sample on here This is a sample here. If you clicked on that, you would open up a PowerPoint presentation. Concert reports. You can even get to the concert reports here. This will tell you more about what the concert reports are. You're going to answer the questions. You don't have to answer all of them. So if it was a performance, you would talk about, was it people in some kind of performance that was not a concert, but it was a performance where they got together and sang or did something locally, which is not really like our performances. Then you talk about what the listener would do. Some things, listeners are taking part in a ceremony. Description of where is it located. It's outside in a field, it's in a concert hall, it's in a church, wherever it is. So we'll talk about that. There's also a link to an ebook. If you don't have the book, you really need a book for the course. Let's jump back to the learning modules. So let's go ahead and look at the next, and here's the library. Sorry, the library tells you how you get into the library and some things you can find to use for your world music. This is a very good one for world music. It's all online, but you have to be logged into the library account. So you have to have your GAL card and use the number on the GAL card. Here's some links to things here. And these are people, this is a music librarian that you can contact. So let me go back here. Back into learning modules again. So let's go away from the library. Let's look at the African learning module. This will give you some new things you can do here. So two things you can do in here. When you click in, it's going to open up right into this, and I'll show you that right now, the student view, so you can see this a little different than my view. If I go to the learning modules in your view and jump down here and go into Africa, you see it looks a little different than mine. It opens right up into the first page that I have. And in this case, you have the two PowerPoints. You have a concert report, so you can click on that here. There's a listening assignment here. You can see the same thing. Two links will do the same thing over here. You have a listening assignment here. So let's just click on this. And I'm seeing yours is not available. I'll make sure that works. Let's see if it works over here. Sometimes these. So it does work over here in the left-hand side of this. So that's why I'm checking this. So check both sides. Sometimes it won't let you go from my page. And you'll notice there's lots of things to listen to. If you click on this, it starts to play. And we will play some of these. I will not talk about all of these like I do in class, but I spend a lot of time listening to music in class. We'll do a little bit of that. If you go to the concert report here, this is where you will submit your concert report, which is a 1 to 2 page document. You can browse your computer. You could actually write it in here. Probably going to be better to write it before you get here because you won't be looking at the document. So you get out of this, so we can cancel this, and you'll go right back to where you were. This went to the next one. We're going to cancel this. This is the African exam. Let's go to the concert report. Here's the viewing. I clicked on the wrong one. So in this case, if it doesn't play on your browser, that's probably something to do with what you've got installed on your computer. You can go right to YouTube here and watch it, or you can copy this and open a new window. I would open a brand new window and paste it in. It'll take you away from here, but then you'll be able to go see it. So I'm going back to the learning modules. You'll also have a quiz on the first section, and that will be listed in your part. So then you're going to go, and you'll keep on going. It kind of goes in the order that's in the newest book. The other books would still work. And we'll see how things go. You have 2 discussions. Let's go to the discussions. Let's go back to concert reports, and discussions. So here's the discussions rubric. Discussions are worth 50 points. I scheduled 3, but we'll do 2. So you're going to do this. You have to participate 5 times, which include in answering the questions. We'll look at them in a minute. And then you have to communicate with somebody else in the group. And this is a small enough group that I'll open it up to everybody, can talk to everybody, rather than having individual groups. And we'll talk more about this in the master class. So let's go back to, let's look at your discussions. We look in your discussion. Here's your first discussion. You're going to look into a database called JSTOR. And within that thing, you can look at this here. There's some other things you can look at here. I've got something on WOMAD. It tells a little bit. I use Wikipedia, but it's not a good source to use for writing a serious paper, but it gets you started. This is where you want to go to the off-campus research port, and you'll go in, and then you're going to look on and this is a link exactly to the article here. So you go in there and you're going to look for Paul Simon. And this is the name of the article. So if you have a problem, I can send you a link to it. Discussion 2 is going to be on struggle or protest music, and we'll talk about that later. So there's your discussions masterclass. You'll go to this thing so you can sign up for your masterclass. We'll go ahead and look at one of this. I already have one person, Dylan, is already signed up. If you want to sign up yourself, you edit the content here, and then you would go in and you can edit right here and put, if I was going to be there, I'd put my name in there. And then you would do that. I'm not going to do it because I will be there. The other thing you'll be doing is you're going to be doing sign up for topics for the presentation. You'll do the same thing in there. You'll put, I have 15, there's 15 people in the class. You'll edit, put your name, and then you'll choose 2 topics. So I would look through the book, and we'll talk about that in a master class. There's how you sign up for that. If you go to the announcements, I've put some announcements in there. And I've also, there's how to navigate the course here. And I give you a little breakdown about letting you know that there's a considerable amount of work to do in the online course. One other thing that I want to look back, if we go to the course information, you're going to want to know how to use AnyMeeting. So this is the Word document to AnyMeeting. It downloaded. I'll go ahead and open that up. And it'll take a second to open up here. In this case, checking for updates. In this case here, this tells you what you need basically here. Here's some things where you can click on this and you can go look at it, how to join. It'll tell you how to prepare your computer. You want to make sure you've been there. Make sure that it works before you go to your first AnyMeeting day. So I'll be around. I'll also be checking emails if you have an issue. I'll give you a link to how to get into these. And this is these are 3 things that can help you with this. It's a completely free program. Better done on a hardwired internet instead of wireless. I'm on a wireless in my house. If you have a good wireless, it still will work. So that basically is, I'm going to return to my look. That basically is how to navigate the course without having to go to a master class to learn this first. So this will be posted on YouTube.